Hello, Dense MC here with another Charlie's Angels summary and review. Broadcast on January 12, 1977, the big tap-out is the 14th episode. The Angels are hired when a known thief outsmarts the police and walks away with a big haul to satisfy his gambling habit. The Angels concoct a complex two-part sting to get all the money back. They also do a further con, allowing the thief to make a trail of evidence enough to convict him once and for all. In poker and other gambling card games, to tap out means a player has lost all their chips or money and cannot continue to place bets or play. It originates from players tapping the cards on the table to let the dealer know they are about to leave, without the embarrassing dialogue. Kelly's the one who gets to say the term during the briefing phase in the Townsend office. This episode features Richard Romanus as Roy David, the unlucky thief, John J. Fox as Ben McMasters, the veteran police detective, and Tony Giorgio as the Angels' blackjack dealer. Besides his appearance in the 1972 movie The Godfather, he's also one of the world's best card tricksters. Also in this episode is Burt Remsen as Pinky Tibbs, the racetrack guru, and Jacqueline Smith's poodle, Albert, making his second of 4 appearances. You can see him at the bar between Kelly and Sabrina, 17 minutes in. I mistakenly called him Arthur in episode 10, Consenting Adults. Oops. A bit of an early spoiler here. Interesting scene and quote of the episode is at the very end when David is caught and being interrogated. Only able to offer Detective Ben McMasters an implausible excuse as to how he got the club vault plans from a deceased gambler, he becomes frustrated. David says, "I saw the girl get killed, Ben," then turns to look at the hall window seeing Jill outside. David continues, "There she is, there's the..." But now it's sinking in that Jill is very much alive and flanked by Sabrina, Kelly, and Bosley. Detective McMasters retorts, "Not a bad-looking corpse." After breaking and entering a company building, David steals a large sum of cash from a vault and uses their own mailroom to send it back to him. Not sure why the mail personnel would send anything to a non-employee, much less anything after a burglary, but whatever. Caught outside by police detective McMasters, but with nothing on him, he gets let go after the detective roughs him up a little. It seems David has a really good lawyer if he's able to spin what we see on screen as police brutality, but we'll come back to this at the end. The detective is an old friend to Charlie, who takes on the case. The Angels' first sting to drain David of his funds is a horse race con. Sabrina poses as a computer odds programmer, getting the winning horse every time. Bosley poses as her bookie. After blackmailing Sabrina into helping him, he wins one, before becoming comfortable enough to place a much larger bet. They never get into how a 1970s industrial computer was supposed to predict the winning horse every time, thank goodness. The real picker was racetrack frequenter Pinky Tibbs anyway. This time, the computer-chosen horse loses and Bosley slips away with half of David's money. The next money-draining con is at David's blackjack haunt. David keeps losing more and more money after what looks to me to be consistent bad cards and calls. I'm not a gambling addict, so I don't really get why he doesn't go to another table or stop for the night. Jill sitting next to him being charming doesn't seem to be enough to try and bet big to impress her, but I guess that's what's going on. After losing the rest of his money to Pinky Tibbs and the Angels' inserted blackjack dealer, Jill subtly implants the idea of robbing the gambling club. After faking her death and dropping security keys and floor plans to the club's vault, David snatches them up and proceeds to rob the place. Not sure why the Angels or the police don't nab him on the way out of the building. I'd say it's pretty damning evidence right there, but we're going for a more light-hearted ending, I guess. On his way back home, David is rear-ended by Kelly, which prompts a look at his cash-filled trunk by arriving traffic cops. Instead of just staying calm and making up an excuse for the money, he panics and flees, prompting the attending police to arrest him. I don't think these officers are in the know as to who he is and where that money came from, so what are they arresting him for? Fleeing the site of a car accident where he's the victim? Lying about not having proper safety equipment in his trunk? I guess all is forgiven since the trunk of his car keeps popping open for all to see with comedic timing. The epilogue features David being interrogated by police detective McMasters, while Bosley and the Angels look on with glee. Funny, he had a really good lawyer at the beginning of the episode, but here he's talking to the very detective who roughed him up earlier without representation. Odd. Oh, and I guess neither the Angels nor the police figured out how he stole the money from the business at the beginning of the episode. This is one of my favorite episodes, but I have to be critical here. It is a review after all. While every show was doing a Sting-type episode after the enormous success of the Newman and Redford movie, some did it well and some poorly. I think it's done well here. However, the way the thief initially gets away from being arrested through police brutality is lame. And then there's the fact that the target never rises above petty thievery until the Angels goad him into doing a higher stakes crime. At least the ending is genuinely funny, and nobody got murdered. IMDb gave this episode a 7.4 out of 10, and I'm willing to bump this one up a full point to 8.4. I'd rather watch this than The Sting. Oh well, I think my nostalgia goggles won out on this episode. Good morning, Charlie.